This year for me has been just a major lesson in how to be a strong journalist and a multimedia journalist. During our fall immersion class, I decided to talk about the local response to the Syrian refugee crisis. This project grew and it became the focus of my year, and I was given the opportunity to travel for 2 weeks in the middle of the semester to Jordan. I had all the support of my faculty, so everyone really just kind of bent over backwards to help me kind of realize this dream that I didn't even know I had, six or 8 months ago. So I went with a game plan that I had hatched out with some of my professors, and I'm gonna focus on this, and I'm gonna do these interviews. And what ended up happening was I just kind of took it day by day. And I think a big lesson learned for me is when you're doing that kind of international reporting, the most important thing is to be really, really flexible. So I had just gotten to Jordan. I had gone to this hospital with a few doctors. So I walked into this room and I saw this father and a little boy sitting there, and the boy had lost his arm, his throat was gone, and he had tubes, he had bags. It was really, he was 12 years old. The father ended up telling me the whole story, and the son was coming out of the mosque with some friends on Friday. There was an explosion, there was a shelling. He ended up getting taken across the border into Jordan, where he got emergency care. I think for me, the hardest part was the father had his phone, and he kept playing these messages, like, listen to my son, listen to my son. It was awful, and I think, you see in the news, I've seen some footage on American media of injuries, but not really.
How old is he?
The father was just saying, can you please do something? Please, please help me, I need help. And for me, actually, this was really challenging because it was the first time as a journalist where I had to say, I want to hear your story, I want to tell your story, but that's the way I can help you. I can't get money for you, I can't advocate for you, but by telling your story, I'm helping not only your son, but other people. 4 days later, I suddenly get this text message from the doctor I was with who said, I have really bad news for you. And then he said, Fadi passed away. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't cry right away. I was just kind of sitting there, and then I called my parents and I told them, and when I said it out loud, that was when I started to cry. That same day, I had only one interview scheduled at the end of the day. I went to this home and there was another 12-year-old boy. He was fine physically, but they had rushed across the border from Jordan. Since I returned from my trip, I found out that boy himself actually got asylum to the US. So he's coming here. So it was kind of the story of, two little boys, two 12-year-olds, and, what happens when things go right and what happens when things don't. I was certainly nervous about going. It was my first international reporting trip, and there were moments that were really hard, and there were moments that really tugged at my heartstrings, but it also was that feeling that I think is really rare of, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Feeling like it's the right thing, the right place, the right time, and I'm getting the right story. So I left thinking, how do I get back here? I'm moving in 3 weeks to Nairobi, and I will be interning there with Reuters. I'll be reporting on 13 countries in East Africa, so I think it's kind of the next step for me, thanks to Annenberg. I think it's a special place. But I've never seen a journalism school that has a media center like ours. I've never seen journalism students who are so tech savvy and kind of on the cutting edge of digital videos and just all sorts of cool social media things. So I think the way that Annenberg's moving is really exciting and really cool. My teachers have been the best part of this experience. Vince and Gabe Kahn and Barbara Pierce and of course Willow. It's they really genuinely care. They want you to do really, really well. They're excited for you. They hear about opportunities and they tell you. So for me, it's just been a year of realizing that quitting a job in consulting to do this was the best move I ever made.